were some of the challenges with putting this signing day together? I think it was a little bit more quiet than what we were used to today.
Well, yeah, so much of it's already done. Um, by the time you get here, we only had three possibilities today, and we hit on two of the three. So we've got one spot still available, and we'll be looking for best player available, after today.
Jeff, what was the reception from the recruits? I guess how are the Roadrunners being received on the recruiting trail?
You mean the ones that are already here, or you explain your question a little better, please?
I guess just in general, when you're making these visits and having these guys come in, because this is a lot more volume than before, and I'm just curious, like what the reception is when you're recruiting these guys are.
Well, of the 39 players, we had a previous relationship with 36 of the 39. So whether they didn't choose us the first time, or maybe we had filled up and we couldn't take them the first time, and so there's a combination of high school players who we developed relationships through the years, junior college players that we recruited before they went to their junior college, 4-year players that are moving up, and 4-year players that are coming from P4s. So there's just a whole lot of mixture. I know this is as excited as I've been as far as the humans that they are. Just in our meetings with our administrators have all mentioned of how mature this group is. I think what some of the unintended consequences of all this is just players are starting to grow up faster. They're just having to. They're having to make a lot of decisions. You're talking to them about taxes and investing money, and it's just creating a situation where they're having to be adults a lot quicker than normal. So we're getting a more mature student athlete, one that's been around a lot of coaches. They've seen a lot of things. So far, the response of my guys are already on campus. Of the 39, 30 of them are already here. So they're extremely pleased with just like the smallest details of how we run things. I hate to sound like such a college coach because I hate it that every college coach sounds like they won the day every time they sign, and then they don't win any games and you wonder what happened. So I don't want to sound like that guy because I'm more of a realist than that. But so far, my initial response for this group has been really encouraging.
Jeff, what do you think it's going to be like? 39 is a large number. What do you think it's going to be like? Just getting everybody once you get practicing and going. How do you think it's going to be? Especially you got I think 20 transfers there. How do you think everybody's going to get along and get integrated there?
I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for all of us in college football is just that. And I've given you the analogy before. I've kind of been more of a slow cooker in my life. I know you're the master of the pit. I'm not the master of the pit, but I got to figure out how to make my brisket as good as your brisket in a microwave in 60 seconds. And that's just different for me, and I've got to adapt. I've got to do better. And it sounds large because we've been so spoiled. We haven't lost that huge of a number before. This is our first time to really get just baptized in the new portal. But we always sign 25 to 27 just because you hope to graduate that many kids. So you're looking at, a difference of probably 14 to 12. And I know you and Greg will have better data of that than me, but I would imagine we're usually around 25 to 27 just from graduation.
Greg?
Jeff, you have a couple of local San Antonio area products coming in here via transfer and a few more out of high school. How do you feel about the way you've sort of managed that connection with the city and the surrounding area?
I'm excited about that. It's as high as we've been in a while. I think we'll end up at 9 or 10 before it's all said and done. We're at 5 right now that we can announce, and we'll probably have 4 or 5 more we will announce later. But yeah, from our 2 high school signees to our 3 that, we got them the second time around. we're excited about them. One receiver, and 4 on defense. 2 defensive ends, 2 safeties, and a wide receiver. So I'll be glad to discuss each one of them. Or if you just want my general thoughts there, I'm excited to get all 5 of those guys in the boat.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about the receiver room and how you've reloaded there, specifically with TJ West, and I believe you called him the president, James Madison. What are they going to bring to the program, and what's your impression of those guys?
And we have Kel, the junior college coming in here in June, and we have 3 high school kids we feel good about as well. Prince is already on campus. Prince is already working out with us, and we'll pick up the other 2 in June. We took, we were already going to have to take some, but then losing Devin, we had to go get another one. So, but we feel really good about the ones we've added, but we feel great about the ones we've got returning. We really expect, David Amador, for him to stay through all this is such a testimony to David and his character and his dad's character. AJ the same, just couldn't. And those guys just stayed and played and could have left, had a lot of opportunities. And obviously I expect my man Dennis Allen from Gladewater, better known as DJ, to really step up. So I would be, and Mackay, we're getting Mackay back as well. And I'm excited about the 4 we've got returning. But obviously we brought in a lot of guys to answer your question. And James Madison's a big receiver that we project to put in the outside lane, throw the ball up to him a little bit more. TJ West has got multiple skill set. Not that James Madison doesn't. James has got really big hands. He reminds me of as big of hands as we've had snagging a ball. And we almost had TJ the first time, but we got him the second time. So I'm excited about those kids.
Steve?
Hi, Jeff. What is the process of re-recruiting a player like Brandon High in today's climate and kind of keeping those relationships intact even after they leave?
It's really a great story. I mean, his grandmother basically, even when he was on this recruiting trip to Auburn, she was like, I know you don't have that kind of money. He's not going there. He's coming to play for you. His mom was the same way. It's the benefits of just treating people good. And, no one was excited when Brandon left. That hurt. But I just treated Brandon like I'd want somebody to treat my son. And I knew Brandon would come around. I just knew he would once he got out there and realized that he'd made an emotional decision. So as soon as he got in the portal, all sins were forgiven pretty quickly. Because the way Brandon handled his departure, he was so classy, such a character guy when he left. He wanted to be the guy. And he knew Robert Henry. I was honest, and I probably shouldn't have been, but he knew Robert was the guy. The same as Kavorian. Kavorian wanted to be the guy. And, man, I love Kavorian. He left correctly as well. And but then I knew we had Will Henderson. Nobody else knew, but I knew we had Will. And that's why Brandon didn't feel bad when he was leaving, because he knew Will was ready. He knew Will was going to take on that number 2 role. And then Amari Peterson, who we got him, another Texas back. Last year we were expecting huge things from AP, who had a really good year last year, but he's fixed to get in shape, and I think he's going to have a great year as well. I'm excited about that room. Frankie's returning as well, and then we signed Mackay as well out of sentence, so we're excited about that.
JJ?
Jeff, did you say you had previous relationships with 36 of the 39?
Yeah, only 3 of them we literally just discovered, and we didn't have a real, dealt with them before. That made me feel. I think that's why I feel so good about this class, is I've just known them for a long time. You look at our 5 San Antonio kids we're bringing in here. We've known those guys for a long time, so we're excited about that. Nate's mom, that's a great one. Talking about Nate. His mom, Miss Kay, she literally just called me out on the recruiting trip yeah, I've been here before. I brought my son to camp like 9 times, and I paid 9 times, and I told you my son was all this, and you didn't believe me. And he went to Marist and made All-American, and now here you are trying to get him. And I said, Miss Kay, guilty as charged. You are correct. So there's a lot of great stories in these relationships. Elijah, I know I can hear Coach Gutierrez right now. I can just hear him. I told him. I tried to tell him, 2 years ago. So there's a lot of that going on right now. But y'all, you guys have been around me a long time. I'm the first one that'll admit when I'm wrong, and I hope they forgive me as easily as I forgive the ones that I messed up on.
Jeff, is that kind of like a signal to players that, hey, because a lot of these cases they choose bigger schools over you at first, and maybe the grass isn't always greener at some of those bigger places?
I think you're going to see that in Eddie and Dylan at Texas Tech. We almost had them the first time, and TJ, those three guys, and they're really grateful to be here, and I'm excited to get them back. And it's always funny to me when I start hitting them back again on my phone, and I go to plug them in, and I'm like, good gosh, 4 years ago, I was chopping it up with this young man all the time. And you just kind of forget, the detail and how much time you spent recruiting them the first time. But then when you go back and read all the texts, it's kind of fun just to keep up with them. And we talk mess about what we were talking about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever that might have been. Those relationships, those stories, we could go on all day about the 30 that are here and the 9 that are coming. Obviously, the 3 kids that we didn't have a prior relationship with, that would be a different kind of story. But those other 36, been knowing them for a while.
Greg.
Jeff, this is kind of changing gears a little bit, but you guys put out a little calendar a couple days ago, and there was a spring game on there. Can you speak to the decision to bring that back after not doing one last year?
Yeah, well, last year, we still had another portal window to go. I just didn't want to do it. I didn't even know who my team was, and then didn't matter. We got smoked anyway. So trying to hide them out didn't work so good, Greg. And if we get to keep our players, and I pray it's going to stay that way, but in the college world, of who the heck knows. But if everything is solid and this thing stays steady and the CSC can come through and protect rosters, I feel very confident about getting our fans back in the Alamo Dome. We embrace the Alamo Dome. We need to be there. We don't need the first time 39 of these players play UTGRV in that season opener. That's the first time they play in that stadium. You know what I mean? We need to catch punts in there, catch kicks. If you remember, I hate to bring it up, but, our first snap from our punter, the first time he's in the Alamo Dome, it was the only bad snap of the year. When you're the head coach, it wouldn't matter because I got him after the spring game anyway because I was trying to find a deep snapper, if you remember, back during that time. We got to get in there. All those new receivers, I just think we got to catch balls, throw balls, get our fans back in there, have a big recruiting day. We're the Alamo Dome has it reserved for us. We're almost sure we're going to be in there, and it would have had to take something crazy to happen for me to change my mind. But like I've said to y'all before, every day is a new day in college football. So that's the decision as of now. And I hope everything stays the same, which that's probably a crazy wish.
I was going to ask, it sounds like maybe you're still feeling a little uncertain, but do you get to approach spring any differently, feeling a little more confident that your roster will be the same when the fall rolls around?
Yeah, I am. There's nothing that's changed my mind yet, but, I'm sure, I don't want to speak, what is that, the Ricky Bobby deal? I don't even speak that, right now. So let's not even speak it. Shame on me, Greg. Shame on me. Yes, I feel confident. I feel great.
Do you think we've arrived in a good spot with the single January window, or how do you want that to look going forward if you had your pick?
You're the best at not letting me forget what I ever say and then bringing it back on me. I would start the national championship game January the 1st. I would work backwards from there. I would start as soon as the middle of August. And we're all bored anyway. I've told y'all, I watch, croquet competitions, and I watch pickleball championships and people throwing washers and stuff in the month of August. Let's get football going. We're ready to play. Let's start. So I'd start January 1st, work back. I'd open the portal up on the 2nd, and that's how I would do it if I were king for a day. I don't think I'm going to get that option, Greg.
But the one window seems better than having multiple.
Oh, it was a nightmare, but it's better just to do it once and do it twice. I mean, you saw my bowl roster. It was not the roster you covered all year.
JJ.
Jeff, can you summarize what your month of January was like? even after the bowl game in month of January. I think there's unlimited official visits now and stuff going on almost every day. Can you try and tell everybody what that's like?
Yeah, I'm going to try to speak on that tonight at our booster, deal we're doing for our signees. It just, we lost Jenna, our recruiting girl that went to South Florida, and man, Mia and Rebecca, and Alexis, and Andrew and Mike and Parker, they just carried us. I mean, we had a ton of official visits in here. I don't even know the number. I probably should find that out before I speak tonight. And without a hiccup, I mean, those people did just an amazing job. You were with me actually, JJ. I mean, I was going to fly to Minneapolis at 10 after the bowl game just to try to see Jordan and Sierra and Mickey and my kids, Jake and JC, for Christmas. I got to miss that, or had to miss that, however you want to look at it. Got to. And as I was sitting there having a good time with you guys, I mean, thank God that I got a phone call. Somebody told me my flight got canceled at 10. The only flight they had was at 6. So I'm just sitting there, at 3:30 in the morning having a sweet tea, and I got to get to the airport. And heck, you drove me, JJ. So yeah, thank God for JJ. I'm glad he was drinking sweet tea. So at 4 a.m., I go downstairs and pack my bag up. Now, we had been there dang near a week, and I had another week of clothes. So literally on the phone nonstop with agents from the time the bowl was over until, the portal closed. And that's just the way of the new world. And Mike Giglio has been no different. Parker, Andrew, Mia, Rebecca. How about compliance? Jim and Sailor. I mean, nonstop. EQ, nonstop. Connor, strength staff, nonstop. It's not just us. I mean, it is everybody in the building to try to get this mad dash done, get this roster in here so we can have a great football team. And we're all figuring it out, JJ. We're literally just figuring it out. And so thrilled for Mia and Rebecca for them filling in. That was an amazing accomplishment.
Greg.
Jeff, I'm curious. I don't want to dive too much into the revenue sharing conversation again, but as you try to maximize in that area, I'm curious, are there any ways around the program that you've been able to kind of cut back spending or redirect some money to have more available for roster construction? Has anything changed in how you operate with expenses in other areas?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's speed dating now, Greg. There's no more 3-day official visits, showing them everything. It's literally get them in, get them out. I mean, thank goodness we had a relationship with 36 of them. So they've already been on our campus. They've already seen all the small things. It's just, that's a huge money savings there of just not having to put them up that many nights, that many meals. So that's been different. That's probably the biggest difference as far as the cost savings. And that's what everybody wants to say, but understand this is where you got to understand there's really not too much of that. You spend that much money on your roster, you better feed them. You better have a great strength staff. You better have the best nutritionist. To rob Peter to pay Paul, that is not going to be a sound system to be successful. So that always what everybody wants to say is that. Where can you cut? Trust me, I work for Dr. Lisa Compost. We don't have a spending problem. That's not our issue. We got a fundraising issue. We got to keep raising the funds, and that's not any way taking a shot at our fundraiser. They are working their tails off. They are working around the clock, and we meet on it once a week. But we just got to create more revenue. So I appreciate your old man way of thinking. We got to cut. But you need to get to the new way, and we got to find a way to fundraise. So if you can come up with some idea, I have an idea. It sounds like East Carolina's going to copy it. I will give total access to this building at all times, 24/7, 365. We'll have a live reality TV show. If somebody will just go buy a national championship, we're just going to bet. We're going to bet on the Roadrunners. We're going to bet on the Triangle of Toughness. We're going to put down $50 million, and we're going to go buy us a national championship and have total access, live reality TV, make your money back. I'm here for it if somebody wants to donate. See, Greg, I need those ideas, not how to cut.
JJ.
Jeff, I wanted to ask you about your staff. It seems like this was the most movement we've seen in an off season. What led to that, and how are you? I guess is all the hires and changes done?
Yeah, we're almost there. We've underachieved the last 2 years. Some of the benefits of winning 2 conference championships is the winning of 2 conference championships. Some of the negatives of that is that's what the expectations are around here. And, our fan base and our administration, they expect championships. So, some changes had to be made. And that's just part of this business. And I'm a big enough boy, I'll fight back. When I think we've done what we should have done. I think we did all we could the year we went 1-9 when Frank was hurt the entire year and we got beat by Tulane in that last game, turned it over 3 times in the red zone. We couldn't have done more than that. That roster, that's what we had in that roster. These last 2 years, we did not get the wins out of that roster. So, if the player can't get it done, change the player. If the next player can't get it done, change the coach. And some of that had to happen this time around.
One of those big changes was your offensive coordinator. How's Rick doing, and just what's been the reception with his hire?
Oh, well, he's undefeated right now. He's never lost a ball game, right? So it's always great. Talk to me when the season's up. He's got a great mind. He's got great energy. He likes to attack down the field. I see a lot of similarities just the way he naturally calls it and the way that I prefer it to be called. I think it's going to be a really nice marriage. But we're struggling through, whenever you change something. Carrie wants me to learn how to play Mahjong right now. And I'm like, look, baby, I'm up there playing Mahjong every day right now with Rick Bowie, us all trying to get our verbiage to match up. I don't need any more mind games to make sure I stay young. I've got enough on my plate right now. But guess what? I'm still learning how to play Mahjong for Care Bear.
And I just wanted to ask about the defense. If you look at the depth chart from last season, and I think the defense has the most departures of, and last season Jess had to replace all of his 11 starters. So what kind of challenge is in store for Jess with kind of building a brand new defense?
Yeah, I think that's a compliment to Jess as well, that his roster gets rated, and because that means he's got good talent, right? You're not going to keep Kenny. That offer he got at Oklahoma was too big. Losing Shadrack, man, that's going to be a huge loss. Losing Blackshire, those 2 senior linebackers are really good. But we feel good about the pieces we brought in and the guys we've kept. We feel good about. We just got to turn it over. It goes back to that analogy I gave you in the very beginning. I got to get my microwave going, JJ, so I can out. I got to beat your slow cooked pit. But I think everybody we're playing against, JJ, is going through the same thing. I believe you guys will probably know that better than me. I don't study everybody else's roster, but I would imagine everybody took some hits because everybody's just buying players and they're all bumping up. Some of them are just going to sit on the bench to make more money, and I get it. It might be the most money those guys ever make in their entire lives. So I understand. I'm not criticizing anybody. That's what's happening right now.
Anything else for Coach Traylor this afternoon? All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all. God bless. Birds up.